people. Well,
Okay.
there are 4 people waiting.
Mm. Is it 10 o'clock in Brazil?
Yeah, 10 o'clock, 10 and 2. And we are officially live for the members.
So, bom dia. Yeah, I went to Portugal once, so
Cool.
and bom dia and obrigado.
Nice,
Only
man.
thing I know.
I wasn't expecting that. When did you go to Portugal?
Right before COVID. Oh no, the year before, I think. 20 January 2019.
I see. Let me see if the people are waiting for you. Oops. No, not waiting, like listening. I think I will change. Let me see. Ba ba ba. Ba ba ba. Ba ba ba. Adrien. So we're gonna talk about what the change is. 2, 3, 4 people. Oh, galerinha, me fala se vocês estão ouvindo a gente bem. Tá. Jefferson, bom dia. Vocês estão ouvindo a gente bem, Jefferson? I'm sorry, Adrian, I'm asking if they are listening to us, if it's the audio as well. You already said bom dia. I think it is okay over there. Data scientist at Group Dynamite from France.
Yes.
Okay, so I actually wanted to get your whole resume to tell them exactly what you did, because you have a bachelor degree in computer science, right?
Yes,
And
and then I did my master degree in Montreal.
So you finished your bachelor degree in France, came to Montreal, and you did a
Yes.
master. It was in data science or data engineering?
It was a general master degree in computer science,
computer.
like no title, no specialization, but I only took courses on data science and machine learning and like up to deep learning with like some mathematical tools that you can use in machine learning.
All right. And was it in Concordia or
At Université
McGill?
of Montréal, University of Montreal ou Université de Montréal.
Université de Montréal. So, alright. Galerinha, vocês estão aí, tá ouvindo bem? O áudio tá beleza? O áudio, okay, the audio is good, Brian said. Thank you for watching, Brian, Jefferson, and other people. So, I'm with Adrien here. Adrien works for Group Dynamite, with the same company I'm working here in Canada. He's a data scientist over there. He's working with machine learning, deep learning, AI, a bunch of things. If you were on my Instagram, you probably saw him in one of the posts that I did in the World Summit. I know I post everybody.
Yes.
And the reason why we are doing this today, well, is the Chat dos Devs. That's how we call it, the event. And many people in Brazil, they ask me, tell me a bit about the data science world. Tell me how is the job market for data scientists in Canada? How do I get, like what kind of course do I have to do? How do I get jobs over there? How is the market? How is the salary for people? And well, you are one of the guys working the team. You are more than qualified to talk about it because you studied and are working on that. And you are working with me in the same company. So for people that are listening, this is kind of somebody who is not exactly in the same team, but in the same team. Can I say that? Because you're in the brain team, right? And I'm in the Octopi. So
Like, yeah, we can say our team is split into two sub teams. I think we can say that. But we
Yeah.
have like the same manager.
which so cool, makes sense. And basically, I developed tools that use the data that his AI models provide. So it's basically that.
Yeah, like we in the brain team do the whole magic thing like nobody saw and just dump the data and make it shiny
Yeah.
and like usable, like readable for the business people that will use our tool.
Sometimes you call us the UI team and we get like, no, we do way more than UI. But it's okay. So people, if you are understanding and if you have any questions, pop it out, put in the chat. And I have kind of a timeline here that I would like to start talking about. Because first of all, you are French. English was not your first language. Just like me, I'm Brazilian. English is not my first language. And we had to figure out how to learn that. And, how was it for you being a French guy? How did you learn English?
Yeah, I was very fortunate because I did a lot of trip in UK to learn English. And I think where I learned English the most is after high school. I thought my English was good at the time, and I haven't practiced for a while. And I went to university, and it was like 100% doing the same exam in the same room. And I don't know, I fucked up. And I ended up having, well, I didn't fucked up, but I was in a group where you had to do your own homework, but you don't have any teachers, and I didn't do it, and I failed the class. And I just like, maybe I'm not that good in English. And because university, you have like 4 months of holidays, I took like 1 month, 1.5 months to go to Dublin. And I was living like in a host family with the parents, with the kids.
But wait a second, where is Dublin? Is Dublin like
the capital city of Ireland?
Oh, so you nice. That's exact. I mean, they speak English only there,
yeah,
right? So
they speak English.
It was your first immersive experience.
No, I did some of them before.
Right.
I did like a week there, now and there, and yeah, I spent like 5 weeks. But the morning I had like lectures of English in group of like 5 or 10 people. So it's really where I learned like the basic grammar, but also how to speak English with fluidity. And then a couple of years later, through university, I had the opportunity to do like one exchange semester in Scotland, at University of Aberdeen. Aberdeen is like a small town on the northeast coast of Scotland. It's like the offshore petrol station harbor, like all the boats that goes to the offshore
Adrien,
station.
Just so we can give the guys an idea of like your career path. How old are you right now? I think you are.
I'm 25.
25?
Yes.
Okay, so we are the same age, and you did a couple of trips in, can I say internships or exchange? It's like a university exchange, right?
Yeah, university exchange. But the first one I talk about in Dublin, it's like I paid like through a company that provided trip. So they provide the accommodation in like a host family. So you're living with like people there, and then you have like teachers and classes, English classes, and like your whole group of like people from a lot of nationality. I met a lot of Brazilian there in Dublin.
What do you think about Brazilian people?
I wasn't really friend with them. I was friend with Italian. I don't know. I ended up with Italian.
So just like, hey, hi, bye.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
I'm sorry. It's because we have some people here, and some of them, they are okay with English. They understand, they speak. Some people are learning. Some people are just like practicing the listening. And there is one guy that just said like, I'm not understanding anything, but I'm following, like Felipe, Harry, Matheus, Peterson, Ângelo, Thaisa, Jefferson, Brian, valeu por estar assistindo, e todos os outros são membros, né? So Adrien, I'm saying the people's name here, by the way. My question for you is looking at your career right now and what you did so far in terms of English, right? So I always want to bring some value to the people that are watching, and I want to give them some tips, so in your point of view, did you do anything special, or what do you think that mattered the most for you to improve your English when you started?
It's constantly being learning. Like I switch all the TV shows in English, full English subtitle. Sometimes I can just remove them. Like South Park, for example, is like the easiest show you can watch without subtitles, I think. Yeah. And but some of them are like
you mean South
fairly
Park?
difficult.
Let me write for the people here. South Park. That I think this is well known in Brazil.
Mm-hmm. And like watching a whole bunch of videos on YouTube, like every time you want to learn something, because I spent a whole bunch of time on YouTube discovering new topics or like
Yeah.
learning new things, and just watch English videos about that. There's like tons of YouTubers that explain that are good in like all the topic you can think about, and like watch them in English instead of watching it in your native language.
Makes sense. I did that switch as well since 2012, man. I've been like fully immersed in English and everything that I could do. I was working in Brazil, I was studying, and that was the only thing. So good thing that you are
Also,
reassuring
every
that.
time I have to like speak in English, like especially in email, and the email is like the task that takes me the most time. Is like I always double check, triple check each sentence. I was like use sometimes like 2 different online translator, so
Yeah.
I'm sure that it's grammatically correct. And after that, yeah, sometimes I can move on. I know I'm like, oh, okay,
It's quick,
I
yeah.
wrote that sentence like 1,000 times, so now I'm mastering it, and I can just skip the translator.
Did you
But
use any tool? Like there is something called Grammarly. I used to sometimes, and I'll be using it. It's a Chrome extension. They basically analyze the text, and it's like Google Translator, but it tells you the emotion. It tells if it's correct or not. I'm gonna write for the people here. Grammarly is a tool I've been using.
I'm using Deeple.
Deeple.
Deeple is pretty nice.
How
It's
do
like
how do I write this?
Deepl.
Deepl. All right, I wrote in
think.
the chat, people. So you take a look on these tools. It's nice for writing. By the way, did you have to write some paper? I think you had to write like some project for computer science graduation or some thesis. I know.
Yeah, I had to write. Well, my master degree was with an internship, because at the University of Montreal you have like 3 paths, and like the first one is like thesis, like a research thesis, and then you like get assigned at the very first semester to a teacher from university, and you will work on like a research project. Mostly the master degree thesis is just, are you confirming that the research of someone else is correct? You just duplicate. You're not doing something new, but
You're
you're
testing
doing
it.
something. You're testing it. But I didn't do that. I wanted to change it, to do the switch in the middle, but it was like super difficult. But because I had to find a teacher, because I was always interested in academics, and but I didn't do the switch.
Okay, so
And I took the internship one, and I did an internship at like the research institute. So it was like a applied research project, and I did a report for that, but it was in French because the company was French, and the university is in French. My teacher was French, like everything was in
when
French.
you came to Canada and Montreal, was also in French, or was it in English, your course?
So University of Montreal have like this policy of like undergrad studies, everything is in French, but graduate studies, it's up to the teacher to do it. And I think, but because of my program has a lot of success, many of the students don't speak French. So most of the classes are taught in English. You can also pick classes outside of your university. You can take like up to two classes, and like you have like a maximum of 6 classes for a master degree. So I took you can take 2 outside. You can go to McGill, you can go to Concordia, Polytechnique, or like even to further cities in Quebec. Like if you want to go to Trois-Rivières, you can do it.
Guys, McGill and Concordia are the best universities here in Montreal, right? One of the best. And University of Montreal, McGill, Concordia.
It's University of Montreal and McGill, the 2 best. Like McGill is like as it's famous worldwide. It's like the Harvard of Canada. They say that in the Simpsons, actually. There's like the Harvard of Canada. And University of Montreal is like the posh university for like French Quebecers. Like when your father makes a lot of money, it's kind of like this. It's the reputation it has. But for computer science, the Department of Computer Science is like good in both universities. And I would say
Concordia is more technical stuff.
Yeah, it's more applied, but it's a good university though. But and it's in English. So if you don't want to learn French and you're just trying to master English, like then go to Concordia. It's better.
Yeah. So I was going to ask you.
Actually, yes.
Go because I have.
You actually don't need to learn French to live in Quebec. Well, in Montreal.
In Montreal.
In Montreal.
Because
like it's a bonus, but you don't need it.
at the moment that you step outside of Montreal, you're fucked up, man. I remember once I was in the early days when I came here, I went to Tim Hortons to get a coffee outside of Montreal, and I asked them for a French vanilla in English. The girl didn't understand, and then I was like, okay, je voudrais un vanille française, un moyen. I don't know if it's correct or not, whatever. And then she said, okay, oui. And she asked me something else. I don't know what she said. I didn't understand. Man, it was so frustrating. Like I was asking her something, she was asking me another thing. We're not understanding. I literally gave up on a thing. I just, like speed got the car and went out and left the coffee over there. So I'm saying that because Montreal, yes, you can live with no French in Montreal. But outside of Montreal, you're going to suffer a lot. So better learn a little bit. And my question for you, again, I have many people are interested in these data science world, especially because right now, many companies are doing boot camp, just like they're doing here, boot camps and boot camps and boot camps. They're doing the same in Brazil. It's kind of a pandemic. It's spreading everywhere. And the reason I'm saying that is because you said you like the academic world. That's the first thing. And you got 2 degrees, a degree and a post-graduation, right? It's a master degree. So how do you think that, how much it is important for a data scientist to have this academic background? And I think we talked a bit about it in the bar when I invited you to do this. Do you remember? And you say like, the market's a little sad because we have people, they learn how to do the tools, but they don't understand the science behind it. And then the competition kind of increases, but
Well, I would say there's a lot of opportunities in the market. I think you just gotta be lucky because it's trending. Like it's been a couple of years now. Everyone is like crazy about artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning. Like these are all buzzwords, like kind of like crypto, etc. So there, like if you have like good connection and someone like have a data scientist a position open and like the person and they trust you, well, I think you can enter as a data scientist and like learn everything, but you need to have like a good opportunity to do it. Like I don't think what I'm doing is like impossible. Like I don't think like my master degree, I'm quite disappointed about that because like all I did in my master degree was like learning the theoretical stuff, like how it works under the hood. And I'm not touching any of that anymore because like the whole part of it, like it's more like software engineering and data cleaning and make sure that the data is correct. But the whole machine learning part, the magical thing that I learned, which like interests me a lot, well, I don't do it anymore. Like if you know what does the tool do, the neural network do, and how you can tweak it. Like if you're able to troubleshoot why it's not working, but you don't know why it's behaving like that, but like, if it does this, or you have like this behavior, then you should repair it by changing this hyperparameter, for example. And like you can do it yourself.
So what you're saying is people are able to work in this market and don't really understand the science behind it, and they're gonna kind of maybe get a job and deliver some features, some tools, and make things work with that. So the bootcamp kind of solved the problem.
Fake it until you make it, because like currently what I do at Dynamite is more like, we have the data in some kind of format that is just given from the business team, and sometimes it's like handwritten. It's like they did the imputation in the database themselves, meaning that the data is like awful. There's no regularity, like for the same string.
That's one of the biggest problems in the area is to get good data.
Yeah, and then you spend like a couple of months only to create a pipeline that will work on a daily basis, like at the end of each week to transform the whole data, like load the data, extract what you want from it, transform it, and save it under the good format. And then the whole machine learning part arrives at the end and there's a tool that does everything automatically.
That's the
And it's called AWS, and you just give it to it, and yeah,
go sleep.
does all the job.
But look, being a professional and being an academic guy, you think there was no value in it? Like if you wanted to get a job on that today and you had no master degree, maybe not even a computer science degree, what would you do? Would you take the same path?
I don't know. I feel like it's kind of a bonus. Like all the position I've seen were like asking, like the master degree generally is mandatory, and then they're asking a PhD. But it really depends on the company. Sometimes they want you to use basic tools from AWS, so you don't need to understand how it works. But for some project, they really want someone with an academic background. Our team at Group Dynamite, most of them are from academics.
Yes,
I
see. Like
even
everybody,
like we all have a master degree for sure, but we only few of us not having a PhD.
Yeah.
And like Felix, for example, he doesn't have a PhD, but he worked in academics. He worked at university for a while, and he has published papers with Omar, by the way.
And everybody else is like either a doctor or
yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
So academics is
in
important
Montreal,
for the field.
The academic is like very famous. Like Montreal has some of the best researcher in AI of the world, and you have like a very one of the biggest, or if not the biggest, AI lab in Montreal called the Mila.
Okay.
Yeah, MEMILA.
Let me write this. Mila AI Lab.
Montreal Institute for Learning Algorithm. It's
so ME or MI?
MI.
I'm learning French now, man. I'm getting all confused with this spelling.
Oh yeah. Like spelling is like one of the most difficult thing I have to learn in English, and I'm still struggling. Like I will tend to say R instead of R all the time.
Oh, you know what? I have some questions for you here. Let me give you already, so we can kind of start answering the people. Jardel said, "Well, I'm understanding everything, but I couldn't speak. My speaking is a little frozen." Oh, he said, at this level, can I already try an opportunity? So I guess the question here is how much English you have to have before applying for jobs, in your point of view.
Fake it until you make it. Like I think it's more question of confidence. Like I was really shy, and that's why I spent a lot of time like on Google Translate to double check, because I didn't want people to think that I'm like not capable of learning of speaking English. But being in a team with non-French speaker, and we have to do all the meetings in English, like really helped me. At the very beginning, I was like frightened. Like I couldn't. I was like every morning we have the daily Scrum meeting, and I was like preparing almost all the sentences at the beginning on my notebook. I was like, what did I do last day? What should I say? Well, because it's kind of a story. Like every day you're like telling the story of what you did and what you're planning on today. But now with like more than a year of doing that on a daily basis, like I know the topics I will talk about, and just the words come automatically now.
Yeah, I would say like if he's able to understand the questions and the whole conversation, speaking is probably like breaking out these barrier. As you said, might be shy or might be not comfortable speaking with accent. Just don't give a fuck about it, man. Everybody has some accent. Everybody, and especially for job interviews, the person who is interviewing you most likely is, especially for Canada, will not even be a native English person. It's gonna be somebody who
our team is like only one Quebecers.
Exactly, and even if they are English native English people, they will be trained to talk to people that English is not the first language. So don't give a shit about it. Just try it. And we have another question from a member here, Yuri Alencar, first month in the club. Thank you, man. In Montreal, is it mandatory to have an excellent knowledge of both languages and being a STEAM field to work? Well, I don't know. I don't get this. STEM and being of a STEAM field to work with data science. Oh, I think I know what he means. He said here in Montreal, French is so important. Are you in Montreal, Yuri? Message us. And if you are in Montreal in the data science world, maybe we can find some opportunities for you. I don't know. Well, I guess the final question is how good he should be in both English and French. English you just answered. French.
Yeah, French. Well,
Je ne parle pas
you
français.
can make it. You can make it. Like we accommodate all our team because of some, like all our meetings are in English because they're.
But not all
people
companies are
not speak-
like that.
Yeah, it really depends. If you go and you work in like a public company or like a more Quebec company, like like with more pride in speaking French. If you, for example, end up at Desjardins or like Intact, maybe, or like Hydro-Québec for sure. Like I went there. It's like the national company for electricity in Quebec, and like everything is in French. And but you can make it. Like in Dynamite, for example, there are people coming from Toronto and they don't speak French, and like that's like when I did my
he
onboarding.
just clarified here what he meant with STEAM or STEM. I don't know how to say that. STEM is like science, technology, engineer, and math. I think I heard or read it somewhere before, but it just didn't kick me in my mind that. Anyway, so he's just saying he's in the field, in our field, computer science, math, and stuff. And well, if you are here and you are in the field, man, just apply for the jobs that you want, and you probably will get some opportunity. The market's so crazy; we get so many offers, right?
Yeah, and there are so many offers, but there's also so many people applying for these offers. So just don't be desperate after like applying to 50 jobs, because it can be very difficult sometimes. Like what I told you the other time is like, because the market the field is trending, there are a lot of people applying. They want to they're like only developer. They did like a online courses on Coursera, for example, and they got the online certificate for that. They're like competing against like junior people that just got their fresh master degree. But companies in general, they want someone with at least 2 years of experience. So the first job is the most difficult one to get. So you need to use your connection, and you need to accept the first job offer you got, because you will use it as a slingshot. You only need the momentum at the beginning, like the first impulse at the beginning,
So
and
get
then
the first opportunity and take it that it was the last one, and boom, you broke the barrier.
Yeah, and then you like, even if you don't like the job, you just be like no, but I'm seeing that with other people. I'm really like fortunate with the team we have at Dynamite. But you just go be like.
I understand. Like most likely, the first job will be a lot of things to do and nobody to support you, or maybe boring. The first job is the first job. It is the one to maybe teach you to pace a little bit. You don't expect a lot of money in the first job, but the most important thing on the first job is to kind of have a stamp on your CV saying you are able to get into the market. And after that, if you go to LinkedIn, you're gonna start getting offers. You know?
Yeah.
I got another question here from Eric Batatão. It's funny. It's like Eric Big Potato. Como tu dis potato in French?
Pomme de terre.
Pomme de terre.
Which is like,
so,
like the normal way.
Eric,
but, the more familiar way will be patate.
So il s'appelle Eric, un gros pomme de terre. Hi Adrien. Do you think the data scientist job is getting saturated? I mean, data scientist market. What about the other data-related jobs like data engineering and data analytics? They are easier to get the job, or are they easier to get? What do you think?
For the last part, I wouldn't say it's easier. Well, I couldn't say, because I don't know the market. I don't know. I'm not a data engineer. I'm not a data analyst. So,
but do you have data engineering data engineers in
We had Joe, who was like a pure data engineer.
Joe
and,
like from my team.
Our team, Joe, but he left like 1 year ago.
No, yeah,
But
Joe that left when I entered.
okay,
It's because Joe was doing way much more than data engineering. Joe was
Okay.
doing DevOps development, and then he was like, I'm tired of this development. I'm gonna join the brain team. And then he started doing the data engineering in the brain team.
okay,
This is
yeah, it was really smart. It was like
man.
very efficient.
You know what? I'm gonna contact him and ask if he wants to make a call with us. The
Yeah.
guy,
Probably have like many things to say.
man, he pretty much built the company. The Kubernetes, the clusters, and everything that we have internally on our side was, I might be wrong, but as far as I know, in the company, it was set up and everything was made by him. Anyway, keep going. So he was the data engineer.
So data analyst, I don't know if it's more difficult or not. I wouldn't say, because I don't do that. And if the market gets saturated, I think they're like progressing, like the demand and the offer increase at the same time. But the thing is, once you get in the market, there's like because the field is progressing
So fast.
super fast, you need to constantly learn like the new technology, because if like you think like everything you learned at school or before, like when you were training to be a data scientist, maybe in 5 years it would be outdated. Like people would have moved on.
Maybe
and
less than
new
5
technology.
years.
Yeah, I think it takes more time. Like for a model to be like used widely, I think it takes more time.
But like,
unless it's like a big breakthrough and it will like have a lot of impact.
Look,
and,
2018, I took a class of deep learning. I had no background at all in machine learning. I had my computer science, math, and stuff. Like stats and math, deep math that we all have in computer science. And then I had this professor that was teaching this deep learning class, so I decided to take it. So it was topics in computer vision with deep learning. I learned how to deal with TensorFlow, Keras, and these kind of things. 2018, right? And Python.
Yeah.
Do people still use that nowadays?
Yes. Keras is still widely used.
TensorFlow not?
Yeah, Keras is based out of TensorFlow. Like TensorFlow is more permissive. You have like more liberty on it, but it's kind of a C versus Python for like as a deep learning library. And against TensorFlow, you will find a PyTorch, which is like kind of a Java thing, for I think. But yeah, like the best part of my master's degree was like playing and experimenting with these libraries, and you just build the whole architecture of the neural network yourself, and you kind of a Harry Potter, like playing with magics and you experimenting, and then it works, no, it doesn't work. And I don't do that anymore, and like because all this part is taken care of like AWS.
Yeah. So,
but it is really nice to learn how it works. It is really nice to know how to make your own architecture. But I don't think like the job of data scientist, like it's very vague, but you can just work your whole life without touching to these tools.
Well,
but you're more in the data part of data science more than in the machine learning part of it.
I see. Well, but given that the biggest problem in the field right now is how to get good data, right? And in theory, what is a data engineering supposed to do? A data engineer?
It is supposed to make the data ready, make it available, make the pipeline, make the whole pipeline working nice.
Does this person works along with the developers to plan the database and stuff, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so maybe we want to start having this conversation internally in our team, so we can kind of make sure that we are preparing data in a good format for you guys when when we start maybe analyzing the business. But that's the internal conversation for people watching this here. I think they are more interested into the kind of path that they could take to get a job as a data scientist or data analyst. I don't know if that's a word.
Yeah, data analyst.
Yeah, so people are saying, yes, the talk is cool. Jefferson said, I'm glad the best is that I'm understanding. Congrats, Jefferson. That means your English is good and our English is not that bad. Eric, grand pomme de terre, he said, he reminds me of Dexter Omelette de fromage. Do you know that?
Yeah, omelette de fromage.
Who is that? I don't get that.
It's Dexter Laboratory. It was a famous cartoon like 15 years ago, 20 years ago.
I have no idea.
I remember watching that on Cartoon Network. I don't know if you had this channel.
Oh, I think I remember that.
Yeah, it's basically a little kid playing with his own, like he has like a secret door in his room, and he enters it, and like you have this gigantic secret laboratory, and there's like his nemesis is like another kid but taller than him with like a with like the villain, and also his sister, taller sister, is like always messing around with him, like always destroying his experiment, and yeah, it's pretty fun.
All right. So do you recommend? By the way, for people that just joined here, I don't know if you are understanding the whole context. This is the Chat dos Devs with Adrien Mainka. He is well. How do we call somebody who has a master degree in computer science? He's a master in computer science. That's the word. And he works as a data scientist for Group Dynamite, the company I'm working here in Canada. And this whole conversation is about the field, the area, how to get jobs as data scientist, how to learn English, how to qualify yourself. So we already talk about English, French. We talk about the career path, meaning academics is quite important, but it depends on your goal and the company, so you don't really need it, but it's good to have. By the way, that's my thing. I'm always saying to my people, go to university, at least start it, because around me, everybody has at least started. And I know that it's not only for networking, it's not only for learning, because as you can see, the market now is somebody can get a job and not know the basics and train models and create things and deliver good stuff, right? But whenever this thing changes or the things gets deeper, so it requires more specific knowledge, you that have the theory, you that learn the science behind it, is the one more qualified to solve the problem. So you are the one that is gonna are going to keep your job. You're the one that is gonna have a job in the future, not the other one, because the one just can't solve the problem. You know what I mean? So tell me what to think about it.
Yeah, I do recommend university, because you will learn all the theory, even though you won't use it 99% of the time, because everything you will learn it by doing your job, like when you're like actually working. Mm-hmm. But once in a while, you will end up having like to understand something. But if you already know it and you already know all the math there behind it, like it will help you a lot.
Absolutely.
And like sometimes like you have like a math problem and you need to solve it. Sometimes just you need to understand how or why this neural network is behaving like this, and why. You will know, like you will have seen that in class.
Absolutely.
So, and you have like a paper that's certified that you did that. So
yes, especially for immigration purposes, if you are going
yeah. Like I'm currently doing my visa application for like permanent residency, and I get much more points than other people because I have like a Canadian working experience. I got a master degree in Canada, and also French. French brings a lot of points.
My French is your native language. Tu parles français. Tu es français. You froze? I think you froze. say something.
I'm back. I'm back.
Oh, okay, you're back. Cool. We got a question here, very good question for a member. His name is Patterson Zeferino. He asked, hi. He said, "Hi, Adrien. What's the stack that you use in your company? Is it common to the companies to use technologies like Kibana and Splunk analysis data? Do you know these tools?"
Yeah, I know these tools, but we don't use them. I don't think I have like enough experience to say generally what people use, because in the company we are stick with like one tool,
Right.
and I don't know the other. So, but I heard about Kibana a couple of times, so I assume that a lot of people use it. I think it's like a BI platform, and you can do data visualization on it.
Yeah, there's some sort of Tableau. Do you know Tableau? I'm not sure.
Nope.
Yeah.
Kibana.
Yeah, I've heard of it a couple of months ago, and I remember talking about it, but I'm not sure. That's a great question. Peterson, I think he's coming to Montreal soon, by the way, and he came from the Microsoft.NET World school. Some people are entering. Nice question. Well, maybe we can tell him what we use internally. I don't know if that's confidential. It is, maybe not. We all use all
These are tools like all the company use. So I don't know how.
Most of them is open source.
Yeah, and also I don't think what we are doing is strategic. So
I mean, it kind of it is.
The data in itself is strategic, like, but what we are doing, like everyone is doing the same. I don't know. It's
well, but maybe we don't want to get into too many details of how we're doing because of whatever concern the company have. Let's stick to the tools and tell them exactly. I know we use AWS. There's something called SageMaker, right? Yeah, I see you guys.
Yes. So AWS is like the whole cloud platform of Amazon. You have the Microsoft Azure and Google Cloud Platform. I think they all have like this, like they all offer the same services, but just the name is different from one.
But some of them don't have AI tools, or maybe not the same tool. I think Google Cloud, for instance, has the same tools for AI like
I
AWS.
don't know about that. I wouldn't tell, but they like all of these three companies have their own AI research lab. And for example, the tool we are using for the project I'm working on currently, the algorithm, the paper was published from Amazon Research. And it's like, and they didn't publish the paper like for a couple of years. Like they developed it internally, but they didn't publish the paper. And it took quite a lot of time for it to be available. Although the progress they made like is incredible. They developed like something that's working better than the other. It was up until recently the state of the art for the neural network for the forecasting time series, and I'm not sure this algorithm is available in other cloud platforms.
So the biggest thing, AWS, but what about tooling? Kind of VS Code databases and maybe even Keras is a kind of a tool. Do you use that? Because you don't train the models in your laptop. You train in the AWS cluster.
Yeah, we do everything in the cloud. I cannot work if I don't have internet. I used to, at the beginning, download the data or download partially the data and do things locally. To just stop because like the computer like overheat. I had to open my MacBook a couple of days ago because like with the heat wave coming, and I didn't turn on the AC for like energy.
You know what? Let me do it. This is why this computer is freezing right now.
Well, about
okay, I'm back.
About the whole tools for like Apple.
Oh, to clean it.
Because it was like full of dust.
But is it your personal laptop or Dynamite's laptop? Because
no, I'm using Dynamite's laptop.
Yeah, I think you can just ask the Mark. You go to the office. Oh, but you are in your tower. Yes.
Yeah, but I wanted to have the screwdriver anyway.
Yes. So, okay,
Yeah,
but
no, nothing on my local anymore. Like everything is in the cloud. So how we work, we have the data stored on Amazon S3. It's like simple storage service.
yep.
Uh, I'm not really a good a data engineer, so I don't know all the data platform they have. Like they have like a Amazon Glacier, Amazon like all kind of data stuff. I don't know for which reason we're using S3, S3,
I
but
know we use open source for some
yeah,
things. You dump data there,
I
right?
think this is more flexible
Yes, for
and
Elasticsearch.
faster. I think the queries are faster. That's why we use it to like for you to fetch the data like rapidly,
Mm-hmm.
quickly. And how I develop, I don't know if you learn, you know what are Jupyter notebooks.
I know that. Yeah, yeah. So is it?
So it's basically a Python tool where it's kind of a notebook and you have like cell and you can have like markdown cell where you write text.
Yeah.
You can have Python code in cell and you can like run iteratively each cell after each other, but everything that you have executed stay in the memory. So if you say A equals 1, then you keep A equals 1
So you can use
in the
A
memory.
afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can have like an iterative process, but it's super fun to develop on it, to experiment on it.
How do you get to versioning? Because I guess once you have a good code and you want to use Git or something to version your code, how do you version with Jupyter?
Jupyter is more like experimenting. Oh, does that piece of code work? Or like you want to see your data.
Oh, so you
There's
just copy the code and you copy the
yeah,
code
or
from
like you
Jupyter?
just experiment. Like people like sometimes you would use like SQL to query the data. Well, I prefer doing all of that with Python, and so I can like have like a
I see.
because I master pandas and PySpark better than SQL, and it allows me to also keep things in the memory. So I will have like the data in certain shape, and I keep it in the memory, and then I join it with another data set. And if people are familiar with like the SQL thing, when you join database together.
I see.
And,
I see. We got another question here. Rafael Assunção, he said, do you have any tips on how to approach reading a white paper? I mean, I'm always struggling to observe it. So I find that this is a real problem. The white paper, they follow a kind of a strict academic structure most of the time. But, you know, at the end, it's science,
is he
science
speaking
language.
about, when we speak about white paper, is it speaking about the research publication?
Yeah, research
Yeah.
paper, yeah.
I'm not like the most expert guy on it, but I know for sure that when you read a publication, a research publication, you don't read the article from A to Z like this. You start with the abstract and you read the abstract like once or twice at least, and then you like get familiar with like the content, because the abstract will say, oh, this is the problem, this is what we've developed, this is the conclusion we drew from it. And it will give you like a good understanding of what this paper tried to achieve. And then once you're familiar with that, you can read the introduction and the conclusion. And if you like the paper is interest you, you can dive into it.
Oh,
more.
I understand.
But it's not you don't read it as you were reading a book, because it's too complicated. Like if you like, it can take days or weeks to understand a paper sometimes. Like
so
it's really difficult. You're like trying to understand the results of the work of someone for a couple of months, years, and or like a couple of people working together. So it's really difficult. And sometimes you need to go after in the supplementary material to understand why they did their experiment, how they did the experiment. It's super technical, and I really advise people, if the paper you want to learn to read, just Google it first. If people wrote blog posts on it, are there any videos on it that explained it? before trying to dive into it.
Yeah, so I guess we have two situations. First, we have somebody maybe working on a thesis or whatever, and they have to look at the research to find something related, right? So
Yeah.
at this moment, you are probably doing this process that you said, which is scanning for related papers. So you want to get what you said. You read the introduction, you see if it makes sense, they have the right motivations, is connected to your thing, and then you read the conclusion to see if it got some result that interests you, right?
Yeah.
And if these two checks, you go to the other process, which is reading it as a book, right? So look at Rafael, he said, I was doing completely wrong. I was reading sequentially everything. I think that's what he said. Okay, nice tip.
A research paper here, I think.
Yeah. You know, we are getting about to the time to finish this. I wanted to make it an hour, but I have a couple of questions that I want to talk to you before we finish. So we have about 8 minutes.
Okay.
First,
but I can stay longer if people are
longer.
Interested.
Let's see.
I'm not on a schedule. It's like a free days, holy weekend, so
okay.
I'm relaxed.
I really appreciate you, man. I'm kind of in a schedule because I'm launching the product. You know, that's another thing I want to talk about, right? I have a training on algorithms and data structures right now coming. I'm gonna release it these like 2 days, May 23rd. I'm opening that for registration. And I'm always saying, people, go learn how to code for real. Learn data structures, learn algorithms, learn how to think. And I think this is one of the biggest problems we have right now for developers. You know, developers, they learn React, Android, iOS, whatever, but they don't learn how to think and solve problems. And I don't know, that might be something also in this data science world, because, you know, your job at the end is, okay, you have to train models, but you have to think and find good solutions and find the right input and find the right algorithm for that situation. So how much you think it's important for somebody that wants to work as a data scientist to master like logic, algorithms and data structures?
I think it would depend on the structure of the company you're working in, because the bigger the company, the more people you will have in your team, and the more specific your task will be. In smaller team, like your range of like tasks that you have to do will expand. Like you're no longer a data scientist, but you're also the data engineer and analyst, and you do all the DevOps and things like that. So yeah, if you're like in a small team, you will need to deal with all different stuff. So if you know about algorithm, if you know about data structure, if you know a whole bunch of tools, it will help you a lot.
Absolutely. And what about now? Another question I have to you is the salary market, because of course we can just go to Google, right? I can just go to Google. I can just get some charts and say, oh, data scientist job usually pay this and this and that in that situation. And of course, for everybody watching this, we are in Montreal, Canada. You know, whenever you think about salary, although we are now working remotely and everybody can in theory get jobs from anywhere in the world, we still have these like that area pays you that much, that area pays you that much, right? So what would you tell my people about salary? Is it worth it?
Yeah, definitely.
I know it's tough to get into details because of the company and stuff, but can you give them like an average of what people are paying here in Canada for that?
What I can say is in our team, we have like people not speaking French, and in order to immigrate in Quebec, you need to learn French.
Yeah.
But there's only one exception. This exception is you are working in AI and you're making at least 100,000 per year.
Yeah.
And there are like people not speaking French in our team. Okay. And they got the permanent residency being in Quebec.
Makes sense. It makes sense. All right. So
they had this rule applied to them. So yeah, it pays really well. And especially in Montreal, I would say like in the tech company pays well. Yeah. I think when you compare it with Paris, so that's my point of comparison because I have like a lot of friends in Paris, and we're making more money in Montreal than in Paris, although the city is like at least twice more expensive. Like Paris is twice more expensive than Montreal.
Wow.
And
also
when you compare Montreal from Toronto, Toronto is like 50% more expensive, at least, I would say, than Montreal. So you can expect to have like 50% increase on your salary when you leave, and like you're in Toronto and your job is based in Toronto.
I have a friend, he's in Toronto right now. He's a developer, not a data scientist, and I was talking to him yesterday. He was like, "Okay, man, I pay twice as much as your rent here." I'm like, "Shit,
yeah,
that's crazy."
Yeah.
So we got another question. Marcus Emmanuel, he said, "Adrien, do you think that data science is a good way for someone that it's university?" I mean, I think what he meant is he a good career path for somebody in university? Like he worked with front end, back end, and honestly, he preferred back end. So is he a good way to think ahead?
So he wants to continue university in order to become a data scientist?
No, I think the question is for somebody that is in university right now, like qualifying himself, learning.
Okay.
And we have a lot of things on IT. Is it better to go to a more data science, AI career, or to maybe stick with a developer?
Well, I don't know. It depends on what he wants to do. You need to be a little bit passionate. You need to be passionate about data science at one point if you want to work in the field.
Because it's hard.
It's hard. It moves fast, and you need to learn a lot of things. And they will if you don't do some research on your spare time, you will end up being outdated, and you're like people. Well, you can manage to survive, but I don't know about in 5 or 10 years.
Yes, and I have another question for you. I'm actually, it's the same question in another way. Why did you choose this path? And that's my last question for you today. Why did you choose to follow this career
because
as a data
it was
scientist?
trending. It was trending, and I was good at it. Well, I think I was good at it. So yeah, and it's like certain circumstances that made me end up where I am here, because I wasn't really particularly interested in it, and I just ended up in the data science and machine learning class. I was like, oh, that's nice. And I didn't mean to take that class because it didn't have like artificial intelligence in it. It was like introduction to data science or something like that. And I was like in my undergrad study at that moment, and I wasn't particularly interested in the thing. I was like, oh, it's artificial intelligence that I want to do. And the artificial intelligence class was all about creating an AI that plays chess, for example, but they were using the classical methods of like game theory, and or an AI that plays to a video game, but the classical method, not the machine learning method approach. And I'm happy this class was full, so I had to take the data science course instead. And and then I ended up in Montreal, and after being accepted in my master degree at University of Montreal, I learned that it was one of the best university to study artificial intelligence, because we had this whole professors here that are like internationally famous in AI in Montreal, especially at University of Montreal.
All right. So, Adrien, thanks for the answer. I have one last thing here. The guy, Luis Matos, he said, just graduated as a software engineer AI here in Toronto. Do you have any tips on how to land interviews? I'm not even getting to talk to recruiters so far. I only got referrals one, and they want 3+ years. So if you have any tip for them, by the way, can I share your LinkedIn with the members of the club?
Yes.
So maybe if they are here in Canada, they want to come here, they want to network, find positions, they can contact you. All right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, sure.
Luis Matos.
You have my name and my first name and last name. So you can find me on LinkedIn.
You can find on LinkedIn. If you want Luis Matos, you are more than welcome to join the Club dos Devs. Just click on the join button on the left, and then you'll get into Discord. You can talk directly to me. But if you want, you just go to LinkedIn as well. I'm gonna send your LinkedIn to the people in the club, right? And now you want to answer him? Any tips to how to land interviews?
Honestly, there's like bunches of videos that explain like how to nail a data science interview. And
But the problem
actually,
is to first get the interview.
yeah, the first getting the interview, but just don't get desperate if like after like applying to 50 position you don't have like any
Feedback,
answers,
yeah.
any feedbacks. I would really recommend you to go to meetings. I don't know if there's like job fairs or stuff like that. I know
Yeah,
in Montreal they
meetups.
have a lot meetups, etc. Like look at if there's. I know there is like a data science society in Toronto, and they have like meetings. I don't know if it's in person or like virtually, but attend to them. Try to see people. Like it's better to know the person personally, even though you like only met once at an event. It would be better if the person knows you and like, oh, I have a job position open, but maybe you could fill it. And also the job interviews, they can be very tricky because as I said, there are a lot of people applying for the job, so they will ask you some very very complex and like thorough questions about things that you will never use. But as a data scientist, you should have seen it in your like in classes. But
You see?
they ask you it anyway. Like I felt some like job interviews because they asked some questions that were like super difficult, but I've never used that thing.
All right. So it's a lot of things. Great words. I think you give him a lot of tips. So go do network, go find events, plan and study for the trick questions. Man, thank you very much for your time. So this is
You're welcome.
11 a.m. right now in Brazil. This call is going to be recorded for the members of the Club dos Devs, and I'll probably give you a link after for you to see as well if you need. And Adrien, thank you very much. I couldn't pay your hour. I don't have enough money to pay your time. Hope you like this experience. I hope my people understand and like as well. We are doing that every weekend, having one call, and we are more than welcome to come back. Maybe we can find another topic that interests you. I don't know, maybe some technical things. Let's keep in touch. And for the people watching this was the Chat dos Devs with Adrien Mainka, data scientist and master in computer science here in Montreal, Canada. Hope you liked. Click subscribe, click liked. And Adrien, what did you tell my people?
What's the opposite of bom dia? Like,
Is
have a good day.
Well, tenha bom dia is the same thing like French, bonjour. But you can also say, because it's 11 now, they're going to have lunch. So you can say bon appetit, boa tarde.
Bon appetit. Oh.
Boa tarde. All right. So
Okay, it was fun. So have a nice day, everyone. And like, yeah, reach out to me on LinkedIn if you have any questions.
all right. So see you. I'm going to finish this. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, I keep you here in the call.
So